Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about my KTM 990 Adventure. It's the project, as you guys know, it's mayhem. If you have been following the channel, you have seen I bought it last year, fixed it up, restored it, did all the preventative maintenance over the winter, and it's springtime and it's time to ride it. So by the point of this video, I've put almost 1,000 miles already on the bike. I took it to the Palmetto Adventure Valley and I took it on a few weekend trips. As I said, almost 1,000 miles on it, and now it's time to talk about my thoughts and opinions about this bike. And before we keep going here, I want to say that again. Those are my thoughts and my opinions. Somebody else might have a different idea about this bike, and that's totally fine. I just want to talk about my experience with the 990. So, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start with the good. Number one, and that's my subjective, but I absolutely love the look of this bike. I think it looks killer. It looks fast, sitting still. It screams stock car, it screams rally. I think it's just an awesome design. Other people might say, no, it looks like a dump, but that's fine. In my opinion, I really love the look of this bike. And I have my cheat sheet, because, man, I need that. All right, next thing, it's a KTM, WP suspension. You cannot beat it. I mean, yes, you can take your T7 or whatever out there and upgrade all the suspension, but man, the WP stuff is so good. It's fully adjustable. Everything that you could imagine to adjust it just like a dirt bike, you can do it on this bike, which is amazing. Everything rebound and preload and you name it, it's ready on there from the factory. I mean, like I said, you cannot beat that. I absolutely love the 21-18 wheel combo. I like to ride off-road, as you guys know, and it just gives me such a great variety of tires out there. And it just makes my life so much easier. I can mismatch tires. I can go to all different brands out there. It's just so much easier than having that 19 or 17-inch rim that some of the new adventure bikes come with. Also, I know many people are going to hate it, but I love tube wheels. As an off-road rider, you know, I'm out there, I have a pinch, I change the tube, I keep going. I do not like the tubeless system for the type of riding I do. So that's another plus with those wheels. And they're super lightweight. I was looking at the brand, they say Saxis. I don't know if that's some Austrian company or not, but they're so light. I mean, you take that wheel out and it's like, I don't even know how they do it. It's amazing, and yet it's so strong that it can hold that bike and you can beat it left and right. And like I said, I don't know how they do it, but I love it. It's awesome. So the next thing that I absolutely love about this bike is the engine. Come on guys, it's a 990, it's 999cc. It's basically a liter, 1000cc in an off-road ready frame. I mean, what's not to love about that? It goes, it has so much raw power, it's aggressive, it is fun. You will never run out of power with that thing, and the motor makes so much torque, it's insane. It is an animal. Absolutely love the motor. One of the things I really like that this bike comes with Brembo brakes from factory, and I have to add on to a little bit to this. One of many complaints of this bike, people complain that the brakes are not strong enough and that they're squishy. And here's what I found out, that is partially true. I think the brakes could be a bit more aggressive for this big heavy bike, but it's not like you won't stop. You know what I mean? There's plenty of stopping power there, but compared to the newer bikes that just stop a little bit harder, a bit more aggressive. But that motor makes so much torque, so when you let go of the throttle, you have so much engine brake that you not even need all the brake system. So I think it does work pretty good. I did the ABC double sintered brake pads, they're pretty aggressive too. And yes, is it as snappy, aggressive braking like the T7? It's not, but it's plenty, it's sufficient. And it's Brembo, so you know it's good stuff. One of the little stupid things that I really like about this bike is that glove compartment. It's right here in the center. Since this bike has two separate tanks that sit on the side, you have that compartment on top, and It's just great. You can throw your registration in there, your phone, or just tools. It's so handy. I wish the T7 had that. It just comes with the design of the two tanks, and they made the most use of that space. And it's just one of these little things that I really like about the bike. Next thing, love the high fender exhaust. I mean, this is how an off-road bike should be from factory. Exhaust high up, tucked underneath, it's not in your way. Your luggage is not gonna sit on it. When you drop the bike, you won't bend the exhaust, none of that. It's up in there, it's high, it's a dual exhaust too, so it looks good, no complaints whatsoever. I'm still running the original slip-ons, but I know if you put like a Dominator or an Acro on it, man, these motors sound amazing too. Next thing I really like about it is the seat. So you can see the seat, it's a one-piece seat, it's really long, and it gives a lot of space to move around. When you're riding around after time, your butt starts to hurt and you start moving back and forth and around, and you got so much space to do it there. It's really, really nice. I'm 5'7", so I'm not a huge guy, but I can only imagine how much I enjoy it. I can only imagine how much like a taller rider, you really have a lot of room to move around. Also, the way it's designed with the low-hanging tanks, when you sit on it, you almost gives you the impression of sitting more of a dirt bike. Since you don't have a tank swooping up in front of you like I have on the T7, this gives you the illusion of a bit of sitting more of an off-road dirt bike kind of deal. So let's talk about some things I don't like about the bike. Let's talk about the bad. One thing that I noticed and many other people complain about too is the snatchiness of the throttle. And that's great when you're on pavement, regular riding, it's fun, you just whack it and it goes. But if you're in technical riding, if you're in sand riding or just slow, it's a little snatchy. You wish it would be a bit more controllable. I have heard with a V-tune you can alleviate some of that, which I have not done yet, but from factory it's a bit on the aggressive side. And I'm not comparing these two bikes whatsoever because that wouldn't be fair. But when you sit on the T7, you know that your acceleration, your power delivery is so smooth and linear, you always know what the bike's gonna do. There's never gonna be a surprise. It always does what you want. With that beast, you're gonna hold on because you never know how much punch it's gonna throw at you. So that's something that could be worked on. And talking about working on, that's one probably of my biggest complaints as a mechanic. These things are so hard to work on. It's an engineer nightmare. Oh my God. If you want to do an oil change, you have to take one side of the tanks off, and that's just mind-blowing to me. It's a dry sump system, so that means it has an oil tank that sits very high in front by the radiator, and you have to take all that off to get there to drain that oil and then drain what's in the crankcase. And it has 3 filters, which I find excessive, but it's just difficult to do stuff. You have to tear half the bike apart to do spark plugs, which I understand these days is not a regular maintenance deal anymore, but still, to do your rough adjustment, again, it's nothing you do all the time, but still, to take the intake off. The intake sits inside the air box, and that's a design I've never seen before. Everything is really cramped in there, and there's no space wasted, so it's a very tight fit. The engineers really squeezed as much as they could in that frame, and it works. It's just really difficult to work on stuff. So if you like to work on your own bike, this thing is going to be a headache. If you take it to the dealer, they're going to charge you for it, trust me on that one. Next thing that I don't particularly love, I personally, about the bike is tall, which is great, gives you a lot of ground clearance, but again, I'm a short guy, I have my struggle with that bike, and also it's heavy. And talking about heavy, if you go right now on your phone and you Google, how heavy is the 990, blah, 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 it's gonna tell you it's between 430 and 450 pounds wet. And that is a straight lie. I don't know where they get that, but that is such a lie. I filled this bike up, I put it on my scale, and it came to 528 pounds. That is so way off. I don't know where Google AI information gets that, but man, this is a heavy bike. And also, it's considered a mid-class, middleweight bike, but honestly, in my opinion, if you have a bike that exceeds 500 pounds, you're in the heavyweight section here. This is not a lightweight bike whatsoever. The next thing is these bikes run hot. That engine heats up pretty fast. It has a small radiator and it does not like a lot of city driving. So let me say this, the bike doesn't overheat, but if you have a T7 on Africa Twin or pretty much whatever else is out there, you know, you're going to see it's going to take a while for the temperature to come up, and it's going to take way longer to heat a fan. Not on this thing. You let this thing idle, you sit at a stoplight and you're going to hear that fan kicking in, and it blows a lot of hot air to you. And I noticed that if you have like a thick, robust adventure pants, it's not that bad, but sometimes I ride around town to do an errand or something on it, I'm in jeans, and man, when that fan kicks on, Lord have mercy, I mean, your leg's gonna be on fire. There's so much heat coming up this thing, it is nuts. While you're riding, it's not that bad. It's when you stand still for a while, it gets pretty uncomfortable. One thing, it's just characteristic with that engine, with many KTM engines, something that annoys me personally is the noise. I can't stand how that motor sounds. It sounds like it's falling apart. It's so rattly and clunky and noisy. It drives me nuts. No, nothing wrong with it. It's just how KTM's built these things. Why they are so noisy, I have no clue. But it's just, me being a mechanic and being a German, this just doesn't feel natural to me. It's like, every time I fire it up, I'm like, oh man, you know, like, clack, 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 clack. There's a lot going on there. The 790s don't sound any better. The 890s don't sound any better. It's just how KTM builds these things. Like I said, I don't know what it is about them. It's just a very clunky engine. Also, this motorcycle, this engine in particular, it's a really bad thing. It's maybe a little annoying. It vibrates a lot. It's a very buzzy motor. Anything else that you ride these days, you know, you fire it up and it's smooth and everything, but this thing is more like a big block Chevelle hot rod, you know, you turn it on and you know, everything vibrates and shakes and you feel it. It's just a very raw experience. Is it bad? I really can't say it's bad. It's just something that I noticed more in this bike than any of the other bikes I've ever ridden. So in conclusion, I really like the bike. I have a lot of fun with it. Yes, it has its strong suits, it has its shortcomings, just like the T7, just like anything else out there. I think this is a very fun bike to ride. And now comes the part that we call the ugly. Here's my dilemma now. I got 2 adventure bikes. I really don't need 2 adventure bikes. And I would like to keep experiencing different bikes, and I cannot keep adding bikes to the stable, because for one reason, I don't need that many bikes. 2, I really cannot afford to have, you know, a whole fleet of bikes out there. So that puts me in a position where I'm gonna have to let one of these 2 go. And I don't know, honestly, which one I should let go, because they're both very similar and yet very different in their own little ways, and I really, really enjoy riding them both. So that's something I'm gonna have to think about. And I would like to hear from you. What do you think? What should I keep? Should I keep the newly acquired 990 that I put all that money and parts and labor in it and just keep riding it and get rid of the T7? Or you think I should keep the good old trusty T7 that has been on so many adventures with me and so many thousands of miles so far? I don't know. You tell me what you think. All right, that's a quick wrap on this. Talk about 990 so far, 1,000 miles in. Great bike, having a blast with it. Thank you so much for watching. Hit subscribe, hit the like button if you like this, and I see you guys in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.